Rashad, why you didn't hit me up?
Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
Brother, I love you, brother.
What's up, Rashad? What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.
Yo. What's up? We got an early stream tonight. That's a surprise. And the only reason for the early stream tonight, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, is literally just to get more sleep, just to get more consistency. Because I've been getting kind of sleep, but it's been like 2 hours here, 2 hours there, 3 hours there. That's not really healthy. So I want to try to get a full night's sleep, especially like tomorrow, going back in the office, everything like that. So that's that. This wasn't on the agenda to cover tonight, but just looking at the intro, I guess that's a subtle flex or whatever. The Lotto thing, Lotto and Ice Spice squashed their beef. And one of my favorite things from the 2024 BET Awards was when Ice Spice and Lotto performed like their diss songs in front of each other at the BET Awards. I felt like nobody else discussed that except for me. And I was like, yo, what the heck? Like, this is real hip hop. I was like, I love this energy. I was standing up for both of their diss songs. Everybody else was in there. I was standing up. Shout out to Drewski. Drewski was standing up the whole Ice Spice set. But yeah. They squashed the beef for the sake of doing business and getting back together for GAT. Obviously, GAT is from the chat and everything like that and things of that sort. Kind of popularized by Kai Cenat. Shouts out to Kai Cenat once again. Mafiathon 3 is on right now. I appreciate all of you for tuning in to even watch me right now when Kai and Speed are doing their marathons. Thank you so very much. I love you all. Even if that was a little too personal of a word. I know some people are weird about the word love. So yeah. Shout out to Music Soul Child, friend of the channel. I might just repost that right now because that's one of my favorite like interviews or whatever. Asking him about the song Love. Like, I'm all over the place. But yeah, I'm about to pull up this GAT thing right here. We headed into Thursday, and this is coming out on Friday. GAT. Lotto and Ice Spice, the single. GAT. Ice Spice with the GAT. All right, bro. But yeah, they have squashed their beef. They squashed their beef to do a song about big behinds. That's real hip hop. That's how you squash it. Send the video. It's hilarious. No, delete. This can't be real. This would have went crazy 2 years ago. Chill. Lotto still runs stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Ice Spice might have been quiet. Like James said, shout out to James, her manager. He said she took a year off. She needed a chance to explore the world and experience life. She kind of blew up and she never stopped after that. She gave herself a chance to like, okay, let me see how colors taste. Let me see how flowers smell, all of the things, right? She needed time to do that. And now she's trying to come back in the fold of things. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. It's difficult to come back once you go away for a mental health break. Entertainment, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think entertainment is pro mental health. It's pro mental health campaigns. We having a whole nother discussion. I didn't even know I was going to do this. Like I said, this topic won't even on the docket. Pro mental health for the advertisements, pro mental health for the advocacy, social media campaigns, all of the things, right? The little boards you do, the panels you do at conferences, everything like that, as a celebrity guest and things of that sort. I do not believe the entertainment industry is actually pro mental health when it comes down to it, because, you know, I look at the 42-year-old young woman who just passed, the Mississippi news reporter who's from Louisiana last week. Rest in peace to her. Prayers up to her family who's grieving the sudden loss of a 42-year-old family member, a former pageant girl, everything. You know what I'm saying? So she was in decent shape. She's 42 years old and she just passed away from a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? And when I see stuff like that, I'm like, bro, that's why I said I started off this stream tonight early to get some rest, bro. My body needs rest, consistent rest, 8 hours if possible. But if I could get 6 hours in a row, that would be sensational. And that is what I'm trying to go for. That's what I'm aiming for. So with that being said, it's not pro mental health, because if you take a break, if you take a mental health break, you're forever like just irrelevant. I remember you could think about, okay, let's go down the list, right? Polo G took a break. Lil TJ kind of took a break, and they were like, yeah, I needed to get my mental. I needed to step away, this and that. Lil Nas X took a break. all of these people who took breaks, they came back and they weren't nearly as successful. Enough people weren't talking about them as they were talking about them beforehand. So, this is just something that I noticed, and I, what I'm saying. So when they're like, "Oh, mental health, take care of your mental health, take care of your mental health," these celebrities saying that the most. They can't take no mental health breaks. You know what I'm saying? So, there's that. Dang, NYPD shutting down speed. Oh, let me see. Let me listen to this. Dang, it look like they about to shut them down. Okay, they just talking. All right. Anyways, let's get on to the next thing, man. To the actual stuff that we have pulled up. I haven't read any of the Angel Reese stories. Of course, I've seen them, but I haven't read any of them. So this will be my first time reading it and things of that sort. Let me see. Dismiss. Only subscribers? Dang, I'm not a subscriber. Should I do the Cetaphil? There was something I wanted to say before I even read these, of just giving my thoughts going into it, so my thoughts after it. They are all original thoughts and things of that sort. And I read it a lot. I would just wanted to say that multiple times because I was saying it over and over again. I was like, man, I'm saying this a lot. All right, give me a second here. All right, we're gonna pull this up. Shout out to the Chicago Tribune. Yeah. Okay, for sure. Shout out to Julia Poe. I'm Big Poe. Yeah, I'm Big Poe. Yeah, I'm Big Poe. See ya. Okay, so my thoughts, right? Going into this, reading these two stories from the Chicago Tribune and the other one from Front Office Sports. All right, it's this. All right, Angel she ain't done nothing. She hasn't done enough yet to be like demanding this type of demand. You know what I'm saying? Like, she ain't been there. She's not a vet. This is her second season. What are you in a rush to move out for? What are you in a rush to publicly call out your franchise? I understand 100% being frustrated with losing, especially after winning a national championship. You win a national championship, the next year y'all lose in the Elite Eight, you go to the draft, you lose a lot your first year, you lose even more your second season. I get it. I understand, right? From that perspective. At the same time, bro, dog, it is not to the point where you throwing your current teammates under the bus and you call them out by name and you're saying, you know what I'm saying, we need to win or I'm out. I love to spend my whole career here, but if we can't win here, then I need to find somewhere where I can win. Like, it's not that time yet. LeBron James, the decision, he was drafted 03. The decision was 7 years later. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this ain't me, because I think this could easily come across as me trying to sound like a plantation owner, right? Like, you're like, hey, you can't leave. What is you doing? You're a professional athlete. Shut up and dribble the ball. You know, it's very easy to come across as that with this. I still believe if you were drafted by a team, even though in businesses don't have loyalty to you, I think just my personal morals are, I have loyalty to them for at least a couple years, and then we can kind of go from there, business talks. So, okay, 5 years for real. Angel, I think right now, the right thing would have been, you know what I'm saying? And you know, she'd be like, oh, well, you aren't in this position. Everybody got an opinion. 100%, Angel. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not in the WNBA. I'm not a superstar. I'm not a WNBA All-Star. I'm just saying this as a lifelong basketball fan who's watched many of these situations play out in the W and in the NBA. So I say you get drafted. First 2 years, you lose. First year, you lose. Obviously, we're working to get more wins, but we know it's a long process. We were just rookies last year. Myself and Camilla, you know, we're coming in next season, 1 more year under our belt. We hope to win some more games and kind of get the city lit of Chicago and get back to so much, because they show us so much love. We want to show love back to them and win some games, right? 100%. That's the first one. First season. Second season, you keep losing, you lose even worse. I'm not going to lie. It's frustrating losing games. It sucks. I don't know what we have to do, but but we have to get better. We obviously have to get better. And, it starts with me, and it starts with each and every single one of us. What can we do? What can I do to improve my game and make sure I put this team in a better position to win games? It's a team sport, and I feel like we have the tools and the pieces to do it. And we've had the tools and pieces to do it last year. We were moving in the right direction. This year we have a worse record. So, okay, let's reset. Let's look back. Okay, what can I, all of these things that we draw back at the end of the season, which we're nearing, and go from there. You're not calling out no specific players. You're not saying this and that, ABC, woo woo. You're not saying we need to trade Ariel Atkins for Kyle Copper. We need to bring Kyle Copper back. We need to. She ain't do all that. She ain't do it. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing all that with that. All right. So that's the second thing. That's the thing that I would think is. I'm sorry. This is a lot of talking before I even get into the stories. I know that people are like, man, what the heck? Da, da, da. I just don't want to give a take after reading the full stories and getting the context. It ain't give y'all a take that I already believe going into the stories. You know what I'm saying? Going into reading the articles. So give me a second here. Let me see what Angel had tonight against Connecticut. Let me see what she had tonight against Connecticut. Oh, they're still playing. Tina Charles has 19 points in 24 minutes. Angel has 14 and 12. Okay, let's get into it, man. Angel Rese wants the Chicago Sky to do more in WNBA free agency. We can't settle for what we have this year. Julia Poe. Few players are more fixated on the upcoming WNBA free agency cycle than Angel Rese. More than 100 players will enter WNBA free agency this winter as a tumult of a two-team expansion draft and a new collective bargaining agreement promises an offseason league-wide upheaval. Those players include 21 of this year's 24 All-Star selections. Rese is not an anticipated free agent. Sky Ford is 5 games away from finishing her second season of her rookie contract, a 3-year agreement with a team option that all but guarantees to keep her in Chicago through 2027. But that doesn't mean that she's content to spend an upcoming offseason on the sideline. In the final dregs of a second consecutive losing season, with a 9-30 record entering Wednesday night's home game against the Connecticut Sun, Sky's leading scorer is making her voice heard within the front office. I'm not settling for the same ish we did this year, Rese told the Tribune. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. That's a non-negotiable for me. All right. Let's continue winning. Let's continue reading. I'm willing and wanting to play with the best. And however I can help to get the best here. That's what I'm going to do this offseason. So it's going to be a very, very important offseason to make sure we attract the best of the best because we can't settle for what we have this year. Woo! Calling them folks out, man. Here we go. Throughout her tenure, Rese has been consistent about her buy-in with the Sky. When the team missed the playoffs in 2024 and fired first-year head coach Teresa Weatherspoon, with whom Rese remains a strong relationship, she voiced frustration yet maintained her commitment to building a long-term future in Chicago. She bought a house in Lamont last offseason and helped renovate custom courts at Oakwood Beach. And when faced criticism of the Sky's training facilities and overall investment, Rese often shrugged off questions with the same response: I just want to hoop. But at the end of the season, she's beginning to take more pragmatic and conditional stance towards her future with the Sky. I am very vocal about what we need and what I want, Rese said. I like to be here for my career, but if things don't pan out, obviously I might have to move in a different direction and do what's best for me. But while I'm here, I'm going to try to stay open-minded about what I have here and maximize that as much as I can. Rese has no trouble in coming up with ideas for how to improve the Sky and sharing them with anyone in authority, from general manager Jeff Pagula to owner Michael Alter. She wants an expanded offices, spaces, and training facilities to give the organization a more comparable work environment to competitors around the league. She wants a more dynamic style of play on the court. She wants the Sky to establish more of a cohesive identity regardless of personnel. She wants Coach Tyler Marsh to coach the players harder. But more than anything else this winter, Rese wants the Sky to get the roster right in free agency. The front office has been timid since Pagula took over as general manager. He traded Kyle Copper to get the number 3 pick in 2024, then sent out the number 3 pick in 2025 to acquire Ariel Atkins. There are phones that the Sox at the Sachs Recreation Center has some of the most active in the league. Still, that activity has yet been rewarded with on-court success. Paloka had a vision for the 2025 team, a group that could sling three-pointers and play up-tempo offense while running through Rese and Camila Cardoso on both ends of the court. But the concept crumbled almost immediately before being thrown completely off track with Courtney Vandersloot's season-ending injury. Sure, the Sky are young, and sure, they suffered several major blows due to injury throughout the year, but Rese pointed to the first year of Golden State Valkyries, who are number 6 in the league standings despite building their roster primarily through the expansion draft as a comparison point for how the Sky have underperformed this season. Watching Golden State, no offense, but I don't think – oh, she said no offense, but I don't think they're more talented than us on paper, Rese said. But they play hard as heck. So starting at the top, we've got to find an identity of what we're going to be next season and then roll with the punches of what we get. Sky front office has targeted Atkins, Vandersloot, and Rachel Vanham as 3 veterans to potentially bring back through free agency. Haley Van Lith and Maddie Westbelt remain under contract alongside Rese and Cardoso, although the rookies could be dealt with trades. The 2026 roster will also include the addition of 2025 pick Sivka, who sat out this season to play in EuroLeague, and a lottery pick conveyed by the Connecticut Sun. That accounts for potentially 9 roster spots, yet Rese anticipates a substantial overhaul this winter. She believes there are only 2 guarantees on the 2026 Sky roster, herself and Cardoso. Between the expansion draft and free agency, the rest of the group is unknown. Rese dang, she said all this? Rese identified free agency needs across the roster, including a backup post and a fleet of shooting guards who can get downhill. Kia Nurse, goodbye. Bye. What did what Alexis Morris say? No offense, 30 and up, hang it up. But her main concern surrounds the point guard position. Vandersloot's absence this season exposed weaknesses across the Sky's roster. The team likes a player who can attack the rim and split the seams on the defense while moving downhill. I wonder who did that. Are they perhaps hooping in China? Are they perhaps hooping in Mexico? Arriba. Shouts out to Holly. Guards such as Banham, Van Lith, and Kia Nurse have been out of position and out of their depth during emergency stints at point guard. As a result, the Sky have relied heavily on Rese to handle the ball as a point forward. While praising Vandersloot's abilities and leadership, Rese balked out the prospect of building a roster around a point guard attempting to return from an ACL tear at the age of 36. And she doesn't believe the backup options such as Banham and Van Lith are prepared to carry the mantle on a playoff team. She said all of this? Oh, wow. We can't rely on Courtney to come back at the age that she's at, Rese said. I know she'll be a great asset for us, but we can't rely on that. We need someone a little younger with some. She said all this to the press. This what like players be talking like this, like around the press and to the press. But they don't want it reported. Like in the press conference and the official record, they don't speak like this for the most part, unless they're ready to get traded, like on some Jimmy Butler stuff. This is crazy, bro. We need someone with a little more, who's probably a little bit younger with some experience, someone who's been playing the game and is willing to compete for a championship and has done it before. Why won't they get it? Well, how do you feel about Kennedy Carter coming back, huh? Yo, what is happening? SSB, we talking about Angel Reese calling out her teammates. If the Sky are going to land a star in free agency, Rese is hoping for a facilitator who can elevate the offense at all 3 levels. But the Sky still haven't shaken one lingering question. Even if they identify the correct talent in free agency, how can they persuade players to come to Chicago? Hold on, let me turn this on. The Sky haven't landed a major free agent since 2022 when they signed Emma Messiman after she took a 2-season break from the WNBA. Most of the team's history has been defined by the departure of players such as Sylvia Fowles, Helena Deldon, to Vandersloot and Copper. This pattern often is attributed to the Sky's lack of spending in comparison with the league's giants like the New York Liberty and the Las Vegas Aces. Improvements such as a new training facility, which is expected to open in Bedford Park next spring, could begin the amended reputation. And Rese promises to be on a campaign trail the moment that the season still ends. Still, she has to admit her pitch to potential free agency still feels like a tough sell. We need great players, and I don't know what will attract that reset. Maybe the practice facility will attract that. We'll see. But the priority is being able to convince free agents that this is an organization that is going in the right direction. Honestly, it would be a leap of faith for a great player to come here and show that this is something that we could want to be a part of, and we could bring that championship mentality. All right. So before we get to Annie's story, number 2 story, I want to say this. Some people said, but when A'ja Wilson said the same thing, people call it leadership. A'ja Wilson has won 2 championships. A'ja Wilson has multiple MVPs as well, bro. The thing is, when you make this statement, you need to do something, bro. You need to do something, accomplish something as a team, accomplish something with team accomplishment. It can't be no 2 years, because if you look at it, right? Accountability, right? We have to look in the mirror. When we lose, we have to say I. When we win, we use we. That's what, shout out to Ernie Johnson. Ernie Johnson said that a long time ago on TNT when Joe Johnson was calling out the fans with the Hawks and stuff like that. That was like 2011, 2012. They were getting blown out and swept by the Orlando Magic. I think it was the second round, one of the ugliest playoff series you'll ever see, especially in the second round. Jeez Louise, right? So, yeah, man, you have to look at yourself. And the main thing here is, okay, Angel Reese has missed a large chunk of the season last year due to injury, and she's missed a large chunk of this season due to injury. You haven't even been available to do all that you can to will your team to the playoffs. So it's like, okay, let's look at ourselves first. Let's see what's going on. I don't know why they got rid of Kennedy Carter. I don't know why they got rid of Spoon. I don't know why. I don't know if Sabria knows. I don't know if Sabria don't know. I don't know if, she said, I never said a name, everything like, I don't know what they got going on in Chicago. I am in the South. But whatever they have going on, those 2 decisions still don't make any sense for them jokers, man. Getting rid of Kyle Copper. I mean, not Kyle Copper. I think Kyle Copper, she requested a trade. But getting rid of Kennedy Carter and Spoon. I felt like they were moving in a good direction with that. They messed it up. They brought in older players like Ariel Atkins and Sloot. Sloot ends up getting hurt. Ariel Atkins ends up kind of being somewhat of a disappointment. She goes off some games scoring-wise, but other games is kind of like they have no scorers. Who are their scorers? I was like, Ariel Atkins was supposed to be that. So, I don't know. It's just certain things with that, right? Angel, you haven't done everything that you could have done. Like A'ja Wilson, when she first joined the Aces, when she was first drafted, they sucked. They were trash for a very long time. I apologize, Mom, if you're listening. You heard me say that word. They were bad for a really, really long time. They were bad in San Antonio with De'Erica and Kelsey Plum. They were bad when they first moved to Vegas and they first drafted A'ja Wilson. It literally took them like 4 number 1 draft picks and Chelsea Young leaving LA to come to Vegas for them to become something. These things take time. It takes time to build this stuff from the ground up. You don't just, okay, I'm going to get drafted. We bad for the first year. The second year, we're going to work on our games, go to Unrivaled, come back, make a couple trades. Like you said you was recruiting at Unrivaled. You end up getting Ariel Atkins, right? It didn't work. You guys got worse. So now what? You got to go back to the drawing board. We got to figure this out. And I think that y'all moved on too quickly because of impatience, ironically, which you're kind of showing here. It's year 2 and you're showing impatience. The season ain't even in yet. This ain't even season in the interviews. This ain't even exit interviews. Y'all got 2-3 games left. I appreciate the honesty with the media, but dang, like you could have held back some. Look at my boys, Bay Swag, Cash Cobain, B Jacks in the building, man. The Slizzies, huh? Shout out to Speed. But all of these things, right? It takes patience to build a championship team. It takes patience in the pros to be a winner. And you got to have that, bro. You can't throw your team under the bus. I don't know if I can stay here, man. We might have to look at elsewhere. Yeah, this ain't no LeBron decision 2010. LeBron, when he made the decision That joker went to the finals in Cleveland. That joker went to the conference finals a couple times. And then he lost to the first super team of the era, which was the 08 Boston Celtics. After that, then he was like, okay, all right, he lost 08, 09, and 2010. 09, he lost to Dwight Howard. 2010, he loses to the Celtics. He said, all right, bro, I'm out. I'm out of Cleveland. We're going to keep it pushing, right? So that's what bro did. You're in year 2, dude. That's all I'm saying. I know you got a whole team and they know what they're doing. You make so many great marketing, off the court decisions and things of that sort for the Angel Reese brand. And it's beautiful to see. I love to see you uplifted the game of women's basketball. You and Caitlin Clark, both of y'all uplifted the game. I salute that and I acknowledge that. At the same time, gang, check the people in your circle because you might get lost in the sauce being Angel Reese. I'm Angel Reese. I'm Angel Reese. The diva, the Bobby. Let's look. Let's take a step back now. It's year 2. I'm not gonna lie to you. We just got on Ryan Howard. I just got on Ryan Howard, right? For throwing the fans on the bus. The fans pay your bills and everything like that. You don't throw the fans on the bus, right? Throw the fans on the bus. And what she ended up doing? She ended up making up for it or whatever. Just started hooping. The Dream started winning again against the teams they're supposed to be the end of the year to get the second seed. We'll see if they end up with the second seed and everything like that. But she's doing her job. And she stopped calling out the fans. And the fans started showing up. So I guess both things happened. It was an uncomfortable conversation that she brought to the forefront with her honesty. Salute to Ryan Howard for that. I ain't going to lie to you, right? She did that. And that's what happened. In this case, you're throwing your teammates under the bus. They played a little better tonight, right? They playing better. Let me see the score. They won. They won by double digits against Connecticut. That's a game you got to win. Angel had 18 and 13 and 4. She did what she had to do. Team stepped up. She was the leading scorer tonight. She put her money where her mouth was. We love to see it. At the same time, gang, you young, bro. You're young, dude. It's year 2. It's year 2. And this rushing is how y'all got here in the first place. You rushed last year. Kennedy Carter gone. Spoon gone. What are we doing, man? And I know you didn't want Spoon off because of how you treated Spoon after she was off the team. But it's just, just things to look at, bro. Anyways, I'm saying the same thing over and over. Front office sports. Shout out to Andy Cospel, obviously former Chicago Sky beat writer, now national reporter with Front Office Sports. Angel Reese faces uncertain future in Chicago after publicly torching teammates. Talking about two-time WNBA champion Courtney Vandersloot, Reese said the team needs someone a little bit younger and willing to compete for a championship that has been done before. Oh, so it's the same thing. Same. She said this in the presser in the pregame scrub. That's kind of wild, bro. I appreciate the honesty, but dang, you gonna say that during the season? Like, goodness gracious, you could have been like, we'll talk more at the exit interviews, but this is definitely not something I'm happy with. I don't think anybody likes losing, and we'll talk about the rest later. Why don't you like losing? I mean, coming from a situation in college is something that everybody has to deal with when they transition to the WNBA. You obviously look at Paige in Dallas. She comes from a winning culture in UConn. Kind of the most winningest culture in all of women's basketball. She goes to Dallas and they're like the worst team. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that's an adjustment for her. It's just something that takes time moving up to the professional ranks, and we'll get it eventually, but we just don't want to be losing too long, And I'll answer more of those questions at the exit interview. That's all she had to say. But nah, she gave the full answer. Like I said, salute to the honesty, but gosh, Lee, before the end of the season? All right. That's that, Angel Reese. That's how I feel about it. Okay, the rabbi's letter to Fani Willis. So I was sent a rabbi's letter to Fani Willis today from Jimmy Atchison's father, Jimmy Hill. And I want to read it on stream tonight. So with that being said, let's pull it up on stream. And Jimmy Atchison's dad sent this to me, and I told him I was gonna report on it. He said, cool. So that's what I'm about to do here. All right. Okay. Give me a second here. I'm gonna pull this up. Welcome in. All right, bet. Let me see if I can save this. Have this pulled up on. I want y'all to be able to read it as I'm reading it. How can I probably have to screenshot this. All right, I'm gonna screenshot this and then we're gonna do it like that. Unless I could save it. Can I save it? Nope. All right, hold on. I'm about to screenshot this letter so y'all can see it. All right. Okay. All right, I got one right here. All right. Bet. W letter from the rabbi. Shouts out to the rabbi, man. Showing up and showing love, dedication to Jimmy Hill and Jimmy Atchison's family. All right, bet. Let's get into it. Here we go. District Attorney Fani T. Willis, urging immediate appeal in the Jimmy Atchison case. Dear District Attorney Willis, I write you as a concerned citizen and as a rabbi. I'm deeply troubled by the failure to secure justice in the case of Jimmy Atchison, a young man who was fatally by a law enforcement officer while unarmed and hiding in the closet. The decision not to pursue a trial in this case has left a painful void in our justice system, one that reverberates far beyond Atlanta and calls into question the integrity and accountability of law enforcement. As a rabbi, my tradition teaches that every human is created Elohim in the image of God, and that to take the single life unjustly to diminish the entire world. Our faith obligates us not only to care for the vulnerable, but also demand justice when harm is done. To remain silent in the face of this tragedy would to betray that sacred responsibility. This is why I, as a religious leader, cannot look away. Your office has demonstrated the courage to pursue justice even when it's politically inconvenient. The decision to hold those in power accountable, regardless of their badge or title, is never easy, but is necessary. In Jimmy Atchison's case, the facts are well documented. A task force with no body cameras, an unarmed man surrendering, and a fired without an apparent justification. The failure to bring this case to a jury is not only a legal lapse, it is a moral one. It is imperative that your office file an appeal that will signal that justice is not just a slogan, in Fulton County. It is a promise. It would tell Jimmy's family and every family watching that the lives and then accountability in the law enforcement is not optional. Silence and inaction not only serve to deepen the distrust and perpetuate cycles of trauma and injustice. This is a moment that calls for courage. Please do not let this tragedy fade into another statistic. I urge you to appeal the decision in the Jimmy Atchison case and to fight for the trial that his family and our community deserve. Respectfully, Rabbi Peter S. Berg, The Temple. Shouts out to Peter, man. W Rabbi, W letter, man. Man. For me with Jimmy Hill, the reason why like I discussed the Jimmy Atchison case so much, and I've interviewed and kind of featured Jimmy Hill on here so much, his dad, is because I used to see Jimmy when I lived in Atlanta. I would see Jimmy Hill everywhere, bro. Like he would be at all the events, and at every event he had the same sign. He'd be holding the sign talking about justice for his son, Jimmy Atchison. Every event. Like there was a YSL protest in front of the courthouse when those guys were first arrested about 3 years ago. There was another protest, and then he was at the Rocket Foundation, Quavo's Rocket Foundation, the inaugural event for the Rocket Foundation Day at the Jimmy Carter Center, with Kamala Harris as like kind of the keynote speaker and things of that sort. He was there with this sign, Justice for Jimmy Atchison, the same sign that was starting to get worn down over time. And for me, just as a person and as a person, period, when you look at him, when you see Jimmy Hill, you see a grieving father in pain. And I think anybody like the rabbi said, with a beating heart, cannot look the other way. You can't just look the other way with that stuff. You have to address it, and you have to see if you can help, bro, any way you can. And to help, you have to be active. You can't be scared of any political involvement. You can't be scared of losing any funding. A lot of Fani Willis, according to Jimmy Hill, a lot of her campaign funding came from, or funding period comes from the police force, cops, and a lot of those other politicians that fall in the same line have certain celebrities kind of loyalty. So because of that, they don't want to go against anything that the politicians that they endorse and they, affiliate themselves with. They don't want to go against that. And so you end up with a lack of just support, period. And there's that. So keep that in mind. And that's why we are going to keep saying Jimmy Atchison's name, justice for Jimmy Atchison. We're going to keep calling for Fani Willis to do something about this, because she's the only person who can do something about this at this point. The federal judge threw this out the window. He was appointed by Trump. He threw it out the window. Okay. The only person that can appeal that, try it in court, anything like that, is Fani Willis. She says she don't want to speak about it every time she's asked about it. And she ignores calls, all of the stuff. So make sure you put the pressure on her if you're in the Atlanta area, or you just watch these videos and you want to do something for Jimmy Atchison and Jimmy Atchison's family, man. But an injustice somewhere is injustice everywhere. And that is something that we must look at. Shout out to the rabbi. Shout out to Jimmy Hill. Prayers up to the family. Keep fighting. All right, next. We're going from injustice to illegal pleasantries. Streameast, the largest illegal sports streaming service, reportedly shut down after a year-long investigation. I had no idea. What is Streameast? They shut it down? Wow, it was illegal? Good. Story by Yahoo Sports. Written by Chris Kawhi. Streameast, considered the largest illegal sports streaming service, was reportedly shut down after a year-long investigation, according to The Athletic. The Alliance for Creativity and Entertainment, ACE, said it worked with the Egyptian law enforcement officials to disrupt their service on August 24th. What? They shut down more than a week ago, per The Athletic. ACE is an anti-piracy coalition comprised of multiple media organizations, including Amazon and Netflix, among other companies. Streameast reportedly generated 1.6 billion visits over the past year, per The Athletic. The service offered illegal streams of the Premier League and Champions League games, as well as the NFL, MLB, and NBA contests. It also provided pirated access to pay-per-view events like certain MMA fights. Streameast reportedly drew 136 million average monthly visits. Wow. 2 men were arrested in Egypt as a part of the operation. Authorities reportedly seized laptops and smartphones that allegedly helped operate the site. The raid also uncovered a shell company which believed 6.2 million in ad revenue was laundered. Wow. 6.2 million. Roughly 200,000 in cryptocurrency was also uncovered. It's believed that multiple real estate properties in Egypt were also purchased in the illicit funds, according to The Athletic. Sheesh. ACE collaborated with a number of government agencies, including Europol, the U.S. Department of Justice, the Office of U.S. Trade Representative, and National Intellectual Property Rights Coordination Center, per The Athletic. ACE Chairman Charles Rifkin told The Athletic that the raid was a quote-unquote resounding victory against digital piracy. ACE scored a resounding victory in its fight to detect, deter, and dismantle criminal perpetrators of digital piracy by taking down the largest illegal live sports platform anywhere, said Charles Rifkin, chairman of ACE and chairman of and CEO of Motion Picture Association, MPA. With this landmark action, we have to put more points on the board for sports leagues, entertainment companies, and fans worldwide, and our global alliance will stay on the field as long as it takes to identify and target the largest piracy rings across the globe. Bro, I've got shortness of breath. What the heck? Following the raid, Streameast's original domain is no longer available, though replacement services have already popped up. ACE told The Athletic that it was aware of copycat sites and are looking into the issue. Oh, there it is. All right, them boys, them Streameast boys arrested, man. They locked up. They said they was taking folks' money. Hey, man. That's something, huh? Red Zone. Oh, man, it just gets worse and worse, huh? Red Zone is coming with commercials this year. First, Streameast gets shut down. Then Red Zone. Oh, brother. Jeez Louise, man. Red Zone has been shut down, dog. You hate to see it, right? Hold on. Let me see if I could. No, I don't have it. I don't have it up here. Red Zone has commercials, dude. Crazy. And the craziest part of this, NFL bought 10% of ESPN, right? This man, Pat McAfee, goes up here and says, it's not that big of a deal. Man, I seen Scott Hansen earlier this year. That jump was like a dream to me, bro. Scott Hansen done been a part of our lives, man, for so many dang years, bro. Like, I don't know. I think it also cooked my attention span to watch like regular football games, like regular full-length football games. If it's not a team that I'm like highly fixated on, if it's just a regular football game, it's difficult for me to pay attention to now, bro. And I think it's mostly because of Red Zone. Red Zone take you from play to play. It's like nonstop action, bro. It's like it's fire. It only gets slow when everybody's at halftime or coming out of halftime. The rest of the afternoon, it's like nonstop. Man. Football. It feels like basketball, bro. Disney ruins everything. Absolute doggish. A middle finger. Don't they understand commercials make me not want to buy their product? Man, you talking that talk, bro. Fix this now, ESPN. We will not stand for this. We cannot. 100%. No, Michael Scott. Shout out Michael Scott. Cancel subscription today. 100%. Why get the subscription to NFL Red Zone if you're going to watch commercials? That don't even make no more sense. But guess what? If you was illegally streaming it, Streameast is down anyway. You can't watch it anyway. They took down Streameast. First Streameast, now Red Zone. What has the world come to? Now we got to pay to watch commercials. We got to pay YouTube TV. We got to pay Netflix. We got to pay Amazon just to watch the Thursday night game. We got to get Peacock to watch the Sunday night game. Then we got to get ESPN Plus and Disney Plus to watch Monday Night Football. Then we got to get, we got to get all these dang services. We got to get the Fox Sports app. We got to get all these dang services, pay for them just to watch commercials. This is all pushing us. If you don't see the plan, this is all just pushing us back to cable. Stand back, stand tall, Proud Boys. No, I'm joking. But yeah, this is crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. What happened to the game I love? Look at them laughing and smiling. I ain't playing it because I know Pat McAfee. I know there's some feds. If y'all put Red Zone on commercials, I know for a fact you're gonna copyright me reacting to a 2-minute clip. It's a minute and a half. I know y'all gonna copyright me for that. Man, y'all got it. I don't talk to the Fed. Talk to my lawyer. What they say? You got me in the interrogation room. I don't want your food. Talk to my lawyer. Let me go back to my cell, please. Next, Dwayne Wade claps back at Mark Cuban. This is from the Dwayne Wade podcast. Please subscribe and listen to the podcast. Dwayne Wade, don't sue me. If anything, I'll scroll down just to make sure you don't. How about that? He responded to Mark Cuban calling on 2006 Rese.
Mark Cuban come out recently and say that he don't care. He taking it to his grave. 2006 was rigged, is what Mark Cuban said. Mark Cuban and I have probably had
my bad.
one conversation since then. It was a very cool, cordial conversation. I love Mark Cuban from afar. Everything that he has accomplished, everything he's done. But Mark, stop saying that.
Oh,
Mark, we beat y'all. Did we get some foul calls? Everybody get foul calls. We can all go back and point. I can go back and point in 2011 during one of them series where Dirk had 48. He had 24 free throws in one of those games. Does that mean that the refs wanted them to win? I don't know, but it wasn't rigged. Like, we still have to play the game. And so, yeah, you had a young guy that was becoming a star in the NBA. Did I get a few whistles? Yes. But was I the only one attacking the basket every play? Probably so, bro. I'm going to get some whistles, too. I'm going to get some calls today. We're fouling. Let's not act like that. So you're not about to tarnish the work that I put in as a young guy to do something that not a lot of young guys have done in this game to say it was rigged. Mark, stop that. Y'all got us. We got y'all. It's all love, baby. It's all love. All right, a lick for a lick now. Stop that bullshit, Mark. Talking about he taking it to the.
I ain't gonna lie, D Wade is real. He's honest, bro. Like what happened? Buddy went with the backcourt joint, right? It was the backcourt rule, the ghost backcourt and everything like that. The NBA changed rules and stuff. It was a big thing. It was the talk of the town for about 2-3 days in between games. But hey, Miami won. D Wade willed them boys there. He carried the old Shaq there, for Shaq's last one. And they got it done. Shout out to Gary Payton. Got Gary Payton one, you know what I'm saying? Got Alonzo Mourning one. And hey, we ride it done. It is what it is. And then 2011, like you say, y'all got him back. This is what it is. But them boys won 4 in a row, bro. Y'all went up 2-0. They won 4 in a row. What can you say? It is what it is. That boy went beast mode. It just is what it is. You got to take the loss. Okay. And that leads us into the whole Mark Cuban situation today with this Kawhi report. Now, I hope Pablo Torre doesn't. Does Pablo Torre? Let me see. Let me see if Pablo Torre does. Let me look. Hold on. I'm looking at my email before we get into this. ATL. Okay. Okay. Oh, we what? I got an ATL day. When is that? Dang, let me see. Where the ATL day at? Hold on. Wizards? What? Oh, that's fire. Oh, that's fire. So, hold on. What day is that? I'm sorry. I'm looking at my email. I was checking my email to make sure I had. Oh, we might be able to do that. We might be able to do that, twin. We gonna go. Well, what am I looking at? Pablo Torre. Okay. Can't be monetized because of I'll be sure. Okay, so that was I'll be sure. All right. Just new comments. All right. New comments. And that was a comment as well. So we might be good. I ain't gonna lie, chat. We might be good. Okay, I'm gonna take this chance. I'm gonna react to this Pablo Torre stuff. Y'all ready? Oh, no, it's not even it. Dang, I should have put it back to back. I guess we'll go Paris Jackson. Then we'll go Paris Jackson. I'll keep it in step. Paris Jackson called out Coleman Domingo for saying she had been very helpful during the Michael Jackson biopic. Don't be telling people I was helpful on the set I had on a movie I had zero involvement with. That is so weird. How are you going to be mad at someone for saying, like, thank you for helping out? Ed the King of Bingo. Don't be telling people I was, quote unquote, helpful on the set of a movie I had zero involvement in. LOL. That is so weird. I read one of the first drafts of the script and gave my notes about what was dishonest and didn't sit right with me. And when they didn't address it, I moved on with my life. Now my monkeys, not my circus. Oh, wow. God bless and Godspeed. Ooh. She said, not my monkeys and not my circus. And she said, not my circus, bro. They said, chill out with that monkeys. Don't nobody believe them kids is Michael Jackson kids, bro. Cause they don't look a lick black. They don't even look mixed. They don't.
You better watch those. You better watch.
Not the point, but I'm sad Michael never had any black biological children to truly carry his legacy. Well, I come from Coleman Domingo. Clearly, from this vantage point, he said you were helpful since you gave notes on the script. Whether they use it or not, it isn't his fault. He's playing the father of your dad. The monkey reference wasn't needed, and when the optics are, as you are, a white woman, it is what it is, bro. He said it was popularized, and orange is the new black, and he said you missed comprehending, 100%, bro. 100%. I read the article and she's definitely quoting the headline, and that was actually quoted in the article. She may have jumped the gun with this one. Oh, I didn't like this. Not my clown, not my circus, not my problem. It's not a reference to monkeys per se. It's a Polish proverb meaning not my problem. But that's not the point. You're dealing with Black Americans here. You're speaking to a Black American. This is a conversation she could have had with him in private. She likes media etiquette. For Jackson, just a little decency. Obviously, he was trying to be grateful and kind. Monkeys, oh girl. I get her also, but how helpful could she be when she only knew Michael her first 11 years of her life, and the biopic is mainly about the start of his career? Not my monkeys. Not my problem. Shout out to Layla. What they say? That's her dad. It's completely effed up take. In those 11 years, he could have been telling her a bunch of stories while cuddling his daughter to bed. Y'all need to be real. How much y'all really remember for before 11, bro? Seriously. I remember a few things. Like, I remember some of the times like my dad yelled at me before I was 11. I remember like how Christmases were, like in terms of like I had a lot of gifts this year. This year was the first year I got clothes. You know, like I remember those things, right? I don't really remember many specifics, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, gang. I remember like the first time I reached base. Someone say you're a piece of crap. So you're basically saying this outsider knew him better than her. Duh. So that's not the point. She is his daughter. But if you, oh, brother. Okay. She's further clarifying her point on the biopic. Where is that? She deleted it? Sounds like she wanted him to be painted more negative, honest light. Okay. Oh, vive. She doesn't like when he's painted as a ditzy Peter Pan. She's always insisting he was a smart, chill dude, bit of a hippie. Of course, that's not his biological child. She's not 2 or 3 years old anymore. Those people try to sue the grandma, Michael Jackson's own mother. Oh, please. They try to sue her mother. Or she just wanted her dad to be shown as a human being. She has been a constant, consistent, and outspoken about her love for her dad the entire life, to the point where she refuses to believe that she's not his kid biologically. There's a fantasy of many things regarding that man. Nope. Her intention was to portray him in a less favorable life, dispelling that theory. Furthermore, she is not his biological child. This is a woman whose siblings initiated legal proceedings against their grandmother, Michael's mom, multiple layers of complexity. This is a woman who did not do what you had a problem with. Okay, what? I don't know what you be talking about in these comments, but I ain't gonna lie to you. Let me see Paris Jackson. Let me see if I can see this thing. Oh my goodness, we aren't even like a halfway through this thing. We are already at an hour. Jeez Louise. Paris Jackson says she's black because her black woman raised her, including her grandmother and Aunt Janet Jackson. If she's black, shouldn't she know better than to make a monkey about a black actor, Coleman Domingo? She has a right to be upset, but not anti-black. Yikes. Paris Jackson calls out Coleman Domingo. Not my monkeys, not my circus, and didn't even think about the context. I'm not Paris Jackson's biggest fan, but y'all bring up her drug abuse and saying she's barely involved with her estate and doesn't care for Michael are making wild statements. That's literally her father. She knows him more than the screenwriters or the cast ever will. If she has an issue with something, she's allowed to speak up and about it. Stop being weird to MJ's kids. He wouldn't like that. Paris Jackson is absolutely right. What she said to Coleman Domingo. I'm crying. People are not serious at all. You can't make something about someone's family and then use their notes saying what's wrong with it, but then thank them later for their help. You better watch those. Yeah, this is a house saw. You better watch those monkey words. So you agree, Paris Jackson. You did help him review the draft. What'd she say? Has she? Weird how it's done in the state of California. Why does it's Kitsu what? Refuse service animals. And then they were asked about it. The manager says, oh, how many people in California follow the law? What is she talking about, Mayim? She's talking about a whole different thing. Mediocre York impersonator or public record CAA. It's kind of crazy how like I don't really hear about her music. Like Michael Jackson's daughter makes music. She signed to a major label. I don't be hearing about it. It's a lot of weird things with the Jackson family, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like Michael Jackson was the most famous person in the world. Like someone commented, they were like, where are all the celebrities? This is Michael Jackson. It's only a couple celebrities out there. I don't know. Like the family was split up because apparently like Randy and Jermaine might have some problems because they got the same baby moms. Like, and then I seen Randy with a MAGA hat on, so that probably caused some friction. Like, it's a lot going on with them jokers, man. I think the inaccuracies Paris talked about. Is this now? What is this?
It's Hollywood. So the thing about these biopics is it's Hollywood. So this is it's fantasy land. It's not real, but it's sold to you as real, and a lot of sugar-coated, like the narrative is being controlled, and there's a lot of inaccuracy, and there's a lot of just full-blown lies. And at the end of the day, like that doesn't really fly with me. I don't really like dishonesty. I spoke up. I wasn't heard. I fucked off. That's it. Y'all are gonna like the fucking movie, so just go watch it, go enjoy it, do whatever, leave me out of it. The thing about these biopics is it's Hollywood. So this is it's fan.
That's 100% not his kid, bro. The kid is not my daughter. Should I comment my thoughts on Paris? But regardless, that is the only father that she's known. We have to respect that, right? Because just because he's not the biological father doesn't mean that he's not the only father that family has known. Her and her siblings, Blanket, Prince, you know what I'm saying? And he just got engaged, by the way. Salute to him. Things of that sort, right? Trying to be as neutral as possible here. This is her dad, so obviously she has a relationship and experience with him that no screenwriter will ever be able to capture. She seems to want things portrayed accurately instead of being dramatized, which is just unrealistic for a movie of this nature. She mentioned that they are going to try to control his narrative, and she's right. That's kind of the whole point of a biopic, boo. People already know MJ's story. This go around is about the vindication. We all know MJ had a very, very controversial career in life, regardless of how she feels about the script, saying the movie is filled with inaccuracies and full-blown lies. This just gives the haters fuel for discrediting all aspects of the film, even the accurately portrayed portions. Mind you, a film which aims to give her dad a well-deserved vindication. I could be on the right side if she felt that the film was portraying her dad in a negative light, but this statement doesn't read like that. It just seems like she's annoyed that the movie is a movie and not real life. Imagine TM headline, Michael Jackson's daughter says the biopic is filled with inaccuracies and full-blown lies. Girl, there's a ways to express your conflicts with the film, but be mindful because a biopic more than likely teeters on a very thin line that we are all hoping it prays, it tips to his well-received side instead of this guy was a weirdo side. The kid is not my son. Rest in peace of Tito Jackson. Tito once said Michael never went to Michael never got to go to a bar. Like he never got to go to a bar, just sit down and get a drink. I said, dang, bro, like it's like the small things in life he never got to do to be normal. So why you expect him to be a normal person? What makes it even worse is that Tamara's son doesn't actually look as white as Paris Jackson. Tamara's son is visibly black and white. Yeah, this looks like a mixed kid. Sometimes I wonder if she secretly has another white perceived child. Who's Tamara? Oh, Tamara.
care. We
Do you know
don't
what I
care.
mean?
But we,
Why do we even care?
we don't.
Oh, she is saying those ain't her
We
kids.
don't care, but I understand that she's saying her dad never lied to her, but your dad lied to you. Because let's just keep it real. She's a white girl. And she's a beautiful white girl. She's a beautiful white girl, but she needs to stay real with herself. Whether her dad was her real dad or not, she's still a white girl. He was a black.
Jocelyn is funny, boy. Jocelyn is so this Tamara, the twin, sister twin. Did she just call black people monkeys? No, she was using a thing, but it was just kind of like tone deaf, bro. The film panders to a very specific section of her dad's fandom that still lives in the fantasy, and they're going to be happy with it. Paris Jackson always clocks it. Paris Jackson lived the most turbulent adolescence of the three. Attempts, addictions, shattered self-esteem that led to her hospital several times, but she decided to fight. That's insane, bro. What the heck? What the hecky? Paris Jackson ain't no dang Joe Jackson. No way. So Coleman should have told her, your kiss is black. Ah! That's funny. Her daddy, when she was like 10, Mike wasn't messing with Joe like that. Then the man, she said she need to move, especially when his words were kind, typical of #them. She's very weird for that. And if all it did was apply notes and they got to read, apply to his character, then you helped in his eyes. Like, what? Jeez Louise. All right, I'm about to scroll back up. I think Paris did a good job in Swarm. Oh, that was my first time seeing her speak and stuff like that. I saw Prince on Mike Tyson's podcast, and all the stuff he said was like stuff that we already knew about Michael Jackson. Like, it wasn't nothing new. So yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of weird, that whole dynamic and family. Like, Michael Jackson's Michael Jackson, but it's like stuff just be off over there. I ain't even gonna lie. It just feels off. Timeline cleanse. Michael Jackson visiting Roosevelt High School in Gary, Indiana in 2003.
I love you. Thank you. On behalf of the students at Roosevelt, we present Michael with the Honorary Principals Award. It reads, presented to Michael Jackson in recognition of the commitment to humanity and a world-class entertainer. Presented by Roosevelt High School. Because everyone knows how intelligent he is. Michael Jackson, the king of pop. With a spirit package, which contains a hat, a t-shirt, a flag.
Mike was such a diva. He didn't even put it on. You're supposed to at least put on the hat, Mike.
And it reads the Gary Community School Corporation.
Oh, they had to put it on his head. He said, y'all don't mess up the head. I told you that joke ain't one that John.
You wear these items with pride. Thank you. That's a lot of love.
He didn't put the Letterman on. He was supposed to take off his blazer and put the Letterman on.
You want me to dance for you? I do the stuff you do. Okay. That's good. You want to dance? Right in the middle. Okay. You gotta tell them what you want them to play.
He prepared to be disappointed. Hey. Oh, he's trying to. Hey. Bro, what the heck? Hey.
That's excellent. That's excellent. You tried it then. You're brave. You're brave.
He was a graduate of Theodore Roosevelt. So we know we want to make him a graduate of Theodore Roosevelt. So today, the superintendent and the board, we all would like to say Michael Jackson now, honorary graduate of Theodore Roosevelt High School.
I was wondering why people would respond when I was saying your names. I didn't get it.
That's funny. Shout out Michael Jackson, man. I ain't gonna lie, that made me smile after all that drama. Whoo, boy, that made me smile. That was some good stuff. All right. Now we get into the Kawhi, Leonard, and all that stuff like that. So, shouts out to Andre G. They shouted out that Louis Keene, he actually wrote about this 4 years ago on his Substack about this entire thing. The arena's net zero emissions claim about the trees and stuff like that. So he said he wrote about this 4 years ago, man. A new arena will never be a moral achievement, and will any attempt to claim that it as one should be greeted with contempt. Having said that, inventing stadium toilets that are incapable of getting pee on the seat is pretty cool. Dang. And then where is she? Wrote about the Clippers and a fraudulent tree planting 4 years ago. That's when CEO came to the Jewish Journal offices a few years ago when I was freelancing there. Sad to say they were full of crap then too. People told me he was going to be the next governor of California. Sheesh. So there it is. Salute to bro. Shout out to Lewis. Had to say that because, with Pablo, I'm how I feel about Pablo this year. Sports Journalist of the Year. All right. So let me watch this.
Executives were suspicious of how Steve Ballmer's Clippers landed the most valuable free agent on the market, Kawhi Leonard. That the NBA did not find that Ballmer got Kawhi by sweetening their offer. Mm-hmm. But also that in March 2025, this celebrity-endorsed, multi-billion-dollar, allegedly fraudulent tree brokerage named Aspiration, which promises to clear your conscience and your emissions, they filed for bankruptcy. And this is where the clue is. What David's looking at with his glasses on is a bankruptcy filing, and there's a list of creditors. The entities to which Aspiration and all of their alleged fraudulence still owes the most money. And what I noticed is what David is noticing right now, which is that on that list of creditors, up near the top, above the Boston Red Sox, is an LLC, a tiny little company that Aspiration owes $7 million. And that LLC's name, David, is what?
KL2 Aspire LLC.
And what does it list there under manager or member name?
Kawhi Leonard.
Whose NBA jersey number, just to connect all of the dots here, happens to be what?
Number 2.
So then the question is, the Aspire part of KL2 Aspire LLC, right? Because, okay, he's getting all this money, millions of dollars. What I started doing was scour the internet for any mentions of Aspiration. Any appearances, tweets, quotes, Instagram posts, anything by Kawhi Leonard endorsing Aspiration. And this was hard to find, which also might seem weird, right? Because every other celebrity Aspiration gave money to was well known. There was Drake offering a statement to Rolling Stone. There was Doc Rivers, Kawhi's own head coach. Robert Downey Jr. was cutting his commercial. That was the whole point of paying the A-list Avengers. But the grand total number of times that I found Kawhi Leonard ever publicly referencing Aspiration, 0 times. Right. Kawhi Leonard mentioned.
So that was the thing. I was wondering the whole day, like, what is the scam here? He scammed to sign with the Clippers, not to go home and bring a championship to my hometown team. He was getting more money than he. Ooh. Pablo found this out too. Boy, you in trouble.
Aspiration. And so what I started doing was reaching out to dozens of former Aspiration employees.
That boy Kawhi got an NIL deal.
A grand total of 7 of them ultimately agreed to interviews, which is also how I have exclusively obtained this signed and executed document.
In consideration of the rights and benefits granted to company hereunder, the company will pay KL2, which is Kawhi, $28 million in cash during the term of this agreement. Company will pay KL2 $7 million each year of the term.
That is Kawhi Leonard's autograph. I convinced one very important person who worked in the finance department of Aspiration to go on tape.
And I didn't so much as discover it as I was told about it.
What was your reaction? What were you told?
My reaction was, what the fuck? And I was told, like, oh, these are the major contracts and the major players you really need to be aware of. And we went through a litany of, really, really top tier name contracts. And then, oh, by the way, we also have a marketing deal with Kawhi Leonard, a $28 million organic marketing sponsorship deal with Kawhi. And that if I had any questions about it, essentially don't, because it was to circumvent the salary cap, LOL. There was lots of LOL when things were shared.
Did you ever see proof of Kawhi Leonard marketing or endorsing Aspiration in any way?
Never, not once. The single largest payment to an individual for marketing that Aspiration ever made has completely evaded all press. It's honestly incredible. Nothing. He didn't have to do anything.
In other words, Kawhi Leonard got from Aspiration a $28 million no-show job.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm honestly so jealous. So jealous. I mean, he's got the dream. Like, it's within my beliefs to be paid $28 million and do absolutely all as well.
The Clippers, however, provided a statement on behalf of the organization and owner Steve Ballmer, which reads in part, quote, "Neither Mr. Ballmer nor the Clippers circumvented the salary cap or engaged in any misconduct related to Aspiration. Any contrary assertion is provably false." End quote.
That's crazy, bro. Them folks was scamming. That man got him an NIL deal. Kawhi got an NIL deal. What the heck? Bro, that's insane, dude. So, okay. Hold on. Now that I've watched this, let me look at what Mark Cuban said. I'm on Team Ballmer. As much as I wish they didn't circumvent the salary cap, first, Steve isn't that dumb. If he did try to feed Kawhi Leonard money, knowing what was at stake for him personally and his team, do you think he would let the company go bankrupt, knowing all creditors will be visible to the world? They got scammed by Aspiration along with many others, crimes for which they pled guilty to last week. Scammers do scammy things. They did a $300 million sponsorship deal with the Clippers in 2021. That's a huge all caps deal. The better the team does, the more valuable the sponsorship has. It actually makes perfect sense that if they stole money from investors and want the Clippers to succeed, why not give the money to help them keep their best player? It's sad that Pablo Torre didn't take the time to find out how these scammers pulled off their scam. The idea is that the default is that Ballmer is the bad guy and it's going back to fire.
What we know is that NBA executives were...
So he put out the $300 million sponsorship deal with Aspire. U.S. probes into turn LA's new basketball. And then here's from the Justice Department. Aspiration partners with co-founder charged and pleads guilty to from last week. Did you watch the entire podcast and see the literal mountains of evidence? He said, I did. How much did they discuss that Aspiration was run by scammers? How much did they question that maybe they could be behind this? So that was Mark's kind of thing. I haven't watched the full thing. I know Pablo was talking about the full thing was an hour and stuff like that. That was my first time just seeing that clip. I avoided it all day. But that boy, ooh-wee. So Pablo responded to Mark Cuban. And he said this, Dear Mark Cuban, care to come on Pablo's Find Out to discuss my reporting? I have some questions I'd love to ask you. Thanks, Pablo. And Mark Cuban responded, at the very, you being an iconic guest coded. Pablo set a trap and wait for that opportunity to send the invite. Gotcha. Look at Nico. Wait, you said Steve isn't that dumb, and then in the next sentence you said he got scammed. Pablo sends on business, rooting for you. I hope it comes out factual or likely a career ended due to how viral it went and the credibility will be tarnished. One shot for the home run, we will see. Definitely not, because he made on that on the NFL collusion, and he made on the Bill Belichick. I was about to say Brady for some reason. I kept thinking Brady. Bro made the biggest mistake in his life. His reporting on the NFLPA checked out. I think he has grits on this one too. All right, so here we go. Then Mark Cuban responded to Pablo, and he said this. He said, nobody going to jail. Oh, I didn't even know SSB came back. You was gone for a whole hour. I didn't even see you. Nothing is coming out of this. Nobody's going to jail. Nobody's getting any punishment. This is going to be thrown on the rug, and everybody's going to act like nothing happened in a month. Because basketball is going to be back. Mark Cuban said, just sent you a DM. Happy to. Like, imagine, like, Raising Cane's paying, like, Zion Williamson $50 million. And Zion ain't in one Raising Cane's commercial. You'd be like, what the heck? What's going on? What's going on? Just sent you a DM. I'm happy to. So here we go, man. It's set up. Get your popcorn ready, man. At least we get the discussion. All I want to know. He said I was eating. I'm out right now. Oh yeah. SSB. My bad. SSB. It is a early stream. I had to keep that in mind. I was like, I thought SSB was gone, so I was just moving on. He said, nah, I'm right here, twin. I was just gone. You doing this when people actually still doing stuff in the day. Clippers statement from Shams Karina. Neither the Clippers, this is what we heard already from Pablo's. After a long campaign of market manipulation, where are we at? Which defrauded not only Steve, but numerous other investors of sports team, Aspiration filed for bankruptcy. Its co-founder, Joseph Sandberg, recently pleaded guilty to $243 million fraud. Neither Steve nor the Clippers had any knowledge of improper activity by Aspiration or its co-founder until after the government initiated its investigation. Aspiration was a team sponsor for the 2021, 2022, and 2022-2023 seasons. Before defaulting on his contract. There is nothing unusual or untoward about the team sponsors doing endorsement deals with players on the same team. Neither Steve nor the Clippers organization had any oversight of Kawhi's independent endorsement agreement with Aspiration. They said, we ain't even know. So y'all ain't have no clue. Okay. So the official team sponsor didn't know that their star player had a $28 million agreement with the official team sponsor. That's like the Clippers, right? Say the Clippers in 2011, their official team sponsor was Kia. And Blake Griffin jumps over to Kia at the dunk contest, everything like that. And Kia gave Blake Griffin a $30 million contract. You saying the Clippers ain't have no idea after Blake Griffin did all that and he came synonymous with Kias in the early 2010s that they ain't have no idea about it? Well, it's ironic. It's the same franchise, but yeah. All right. To say otherwise is flat out wrong. Okay. I did not do steroids, period. If you know, you know. Shout out to, you know what I mean? I ain't even going to say the name. If you know, you know. The Clippers take NBA compliance extremely seriously, fully respect the league's rules, and welcome this investigation related to Aspiration. The Clippers will continue to cooperate with law enforcement in its investigation into Aspiration's blatantly fraudulent activity. Let me see. He said, I just got out. He said, but to be honest, if you were to go through many athletes, teams, owners, there's always some shady stuff. 100%. Like in college. But like I said, this is some like Kawhi was getting NIL deals, bro. Kawhi on an NIL deal. He got his college money, he got his job money, and then he got his, you know what I'm saying? His side money. But yeah. Okay, so there's that. Okay, and next up, there's some Epstein's list stuff.
Now, Several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors.
So everybody in the comment section was mad at them for
Stay tuned
saying
for
this.
more details on that.
Because they did a whole press conference announcing an announcement. They said, yo, we about to have an announcement and we're going to say all the Epstein stuff without all the higher ups doing it. Boy, if you coming out with some potential dirt, hypothetically speaking, on the current president of the United States, and you announce to the world, right? If you announce to the world, hey, we have the Epstein list and we are going to announce it at a later date. Why would you put that target on your bag? You showed your face, your name. They know how y'all look. Y'all got the black girl up here talking. And y'all talking about we going to tell y'all what it is. Man, the White House on your head. That's all I'm going to say. The White House going to be on your head, bro. The White House be on your head. If you said like regular conspiracy theory stuff live on the internet and had it publicized, but the White House the next week, rest in peace to China Rogers, the rapper, the Philly rapper / model. She said she used to have the FBI knock on her door all the time. Big Sean said he had the FBI knock on his door. Secret Service knock on his door. And hey, it is what it is. Like SSB say, just say it, get a lawyer, take legal action. But they say don't say none. My lawyer gonna say it. Or just announce it. Hey, we decided to come out with Epstein list ourselves. And then say the names. I ain't even gonna say names, hypothetically speaking, because they're gonna get me out of here. And you know they are. Next thing next, man. Toxic couple. I saw this and I just wanted to watch the full thing on stream. So I don't know if something's in it. You know, sometimes I be watching stuff and it be a dud. Other times you watch something, it'd be something.
My husband and I do not have a fairy tale love story. It's actually pretty toxic. Let me tell you about it. We met in 2019 when I joined this network marketing business that he was in. We were both already entrepreneurial
Forex
minded with the same big vision and values. So we connected right away. Literally from the first conversation we had, I knew he was going to be my husband. But he was still unsure because we met while he was on a break with his ex-girlfriend of 6 years. Now, you may think I was crazy for being understanding and sticking around after he told me, but I was extremely intuitive and emotionally aware. I had faith that he would eventually see that I was obviously his divine partner, and his attachment to her was due to the time and the experiences that they had together. Just because you love someone doesn't mean you're supposed to marry them, and I was in it for the long game. Well, Jamal was conflicted and he couldn't deal with it anymore, so I got dumped in the middle of the pandemic when I had just lost my job and my apartment. So I moved out of his room and lived in my mother's 1-bedroom apartment while door dashing from sunup to sundown, just trying to keep it together. I eventually got a teaching job in my own apartment and spent my single season healing, growing, working on myself, and building my dreams. I was dating, but my standards were so high, nobody could really meet them. Then after a year, Jamal slid back into my DMs and I was extremely skeptical. Him and his ex got back together that year, but finally called it off for good. But I needed to make sure he was serious about me and not just heartbroken over her. So it took me
I need to continue my healing journey because I feel like my thoughts will come from a place of hurt. And I feel like that self-awareness is so pivotal to people who comment on things like this on the internet. That's growth. That's growth. That's y'all give it up for growth. Y'all give it up for growth. Y'all give it up for growth. I'm not going to say what I want to say for the sake of entertainment or anything like that, because these are real people and these are real people's lives.
A few months to even let him back in. And when I did, I was not playing around. Either we were getting married or he needed to get out of my face. So he moved in. We both quit our jobs and started a business together. And 6 months later, he proposed. Over the next 2 years, he committed to regaining my full trust after the traumatizing dating experience we had the first time. We went through a lot of pain and healing together. We went broke together, and I mean no water and no heat in the middle of the winter kind of broke. But we held on to the vision we talked about in 2019, and we were willing to grow through whatever we needed to get it. In 2024, Jamal retired me and committed to being the sole provider. So for the first time in my life, I didn't have the pressure to do or be anything. So I explored that. I focused on addressing my childhood wounds and healing, increasing my emotional intelligence, relaxing into my feminine. I discovered that I want to be a music artist, and I learned so much about who I am when I'm not trying to be who I'm supposed to be. And as a wife, I used my newfound wisdom to help Jamal heal his wounds that were holding him back from attracting the wealth and business success that he always wanted. Together, after years of delay and sacrifice, we are learning how to enjoy life again, to be in love and be free and be happy together, knowing that we are taken care of. You are watching us build a legacy of love, freedom, and abundance together. And all we want to do is help other people who want the same thing to have that as well. Now take that and apply it.
If you like it, I love it. Y'all give it up for Black Love, man. Give it up for Black Love, man. Give it up for Black Love, man. Hey, salute to them folks, man. I'm glad y'all figured it out, and I'm glad you got to, you know what I'm saying, retire and just find out life, you know what I'm saying? Find out about yourself and stuff. You got the man you wanted. You got the man you wanted. Ironic transition here. I didn't know how I like sequenced this, but this is where we going. This is where we going with it, man. Let me see where we at. What do you say? He said, okay. Shout out Squires, my boy. Shout out A&T. Aye. Shout out all my people over there at A&T. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So. All right. Hold on. Let me stop playing. I'm going to pull this up in a second. I'm pulling it up right now. The Zendaya story. Happy birthday to Zendaya. Happy belated birthday to Zendaya. What is she now? 29? I believe Zendaya has turned like 29 now. So happy belated birthday to Zendaya. One of the biggest models, like actresses, figures, icons of her time. 29 years old. Here we go. This is her post and her words. Coming on here to say how grateful I am for another year of life. And thank you all for making it so beautiful. Thank you so much for all the love and warm wishes as always. Here's to the official last year of my 20s. Literally, what the hecky? 29. Love Z. Zendaya, man. This junk got 4 million likes, bro. Let me see how many followers she has. Zendaya has 177 million followers. I'm about to pass out. Following 0 on Instagram. Let's go to Twitter, shall we? Twitter, Zendaya. 19.9 million followers. She hasn't tweeted in over 2 years. She's following 0 people on Twitter. Superstar, icon, all of the things, as the children say, mother, whatever they want to say, right? Euphoria star, all of the things. Vogue model, the supermodel of a generation, the star of Challengers, and obviously Miss Mary Jane. I believe she's Miss Mary Jane. I'm sorry. Spider-Man fans, if she's not Miss Mary Jane, my bad. Happy belated birthday to Zendaya. Here's the Zendaya story time. So it's 2012. My little sister, my baby sister, her favorite show at the time was Shake It Up. Zendaya was coming to Atlanta December 8th. My baby sister's birthday is also on Christmas Day. So his birthday's on Christmas Day. Christmas is coming up. 2 for 1. I get you an autograph picture of Zendaya. I look up some Shake It Out poster or something like that, wallpaper, right, on Google. I print it out. It's printed out kind of weird. So like it's kind of halfway cut on the paper. A bunch of white space. I think I like chopped it, or I was like, I'll chop it after I get the autograph. Just get the autograph first. And I put it in my notebook. I had a notebook where I like wrote a bunch of dreams or whatever and goals and stuff like that in high school. And but I just got it. It was a fresh notebook. So I put it in there to kind of hide it. And it had a football helmet on it. The notebook had a football helmet on it on the outside. Because, like I think I'm grown and stuff like that. I'm 17. I'm driving. I got a job now. I'm trying to be all cool wearing snapbacks and stuff. I'm applying for colleges. I'm grown. So 17, man. I don't want to be looking crazy holding a Shake It Up thing. Because, I'm 17. I don't watch Disney Channel anymore. Even though I still watch Shake It Up. But I don't want people to know that. I'm walking around with the little printout of the Shake It Up thing in my little notebook. So I bring that with me. The night before, bro, I kid you not. For some reason, I don't know why, because I told myself and I convinced myself I was doing this solely for my baby sister for her birthday. For her birthday and Christmas. 2 for 1. Get the star of her favorite TV show to sign and say, happy birthday, Merry Christmas. All of that, right? So that's what I told myself. So the night before, I'm just pacing around my room. I end up doing like 100 push-ups. I did like 100 push-ups. Then I brushed my teeth like 3 times. Just that night. Then I laid out my outfit. I never laid out my outfit, bro. I still don't be laying out my outfit like the day before for most times. The only time I do that is like when I gotta dress up, it's a special event, or if I'm about to travel. I'm about to go to the airport. I need to know what I'm wearing today. So I could just wake up, roll out of bed, shower, and then go to the airport. You know what I mean? So I was so excited. I did 100 push-ups, did like 100 sit-ups, brushed my teeth 3 times. And then I laid out my outfit. I wore my senior shirt. It's like seniors, class of what. I wore that just to show, I was older. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. Seniors are cool. In high school, if you a senior, you at the top of the social food chain, everything like that. You just automatically cool for being a senior in high school. So I got on my senior shirt, had on some dark Levi jeans or whatever, things of that sort, some simple, some slight. And then for the first time, I brought out some Adidas Sambas that I never wore before because I was just wearing Nikes and stuff like that. I was wearing my Nikes, but I wore my Sambas for the first time. I brought them out. I brought the shoebox with me because I didn't want to crease the shoes. And here's the Sambas for you. They were like this. Good pair of shoes. I probably want to give me a new pair, by the way. I wanted to get the Donald Glovers, but then like by the time I wanted to get them, Donald Glover like ended his partnership with them. I guess he didn't like sell enough signature shoes or whatever, but I wanted the Donald Glover joints. But yeah. I brought these out for the first time ever, right? So I got them in a box, everything, because I don't want to crease them. And that morning, I'm riding around. My cousin hit me. He texted me and he said, yo, cuz, shouts out to my cuz Brent, everything like that. His birthday was recent too. I just shouted him out. Y'all subscribe to him, The Next Success on YouTube. He said, yo, cuz, can you drop me off at the Y? I'm like, oh my gosh. I had a plan to be there on time and early and this and that. I timed out how far it was. It was 40 minutes away. All that stuff. So yeah, I said, I got you, bro. So I go scoop him up, drop him off at the Y. And now I'm like, all right, do I want to get out the shoes? I said, no, I ain't getting out the shoes. I ain't getting out the shoes. Yeah, I ain't getting out the shoes. It's too much. The reason why I remember all these details is because I wrote a paper on it my freshman year of college. So, I don't want to get my shoes. I don't want to get my shoes yet. I go in the car after dropping them off at the Y. I drive 40 minutes to Alpharetta. So the YMCA was off of Campbellton Road in Southwest Atlanta. And I'm going to like North Atlanta, which is Alpharetta. You know what I'm saying? Suburbs, like Ridge Park, everything like that, to the North Point Mall over there. So I'm driving. I'm on 400. 400, they got tolls, or at least they did back then in 2012. So they had a toll. I dropped my little coins in. They said, these Canadian coins. I said, what the heck? Canadian coins? What my stepdad? I'm driving my stepdad's car, by the way. What my stepdad doing with some Canadian coins? So, they let me through anyway. They let me through the toll. And now I'm like, I'm rolling now. I got the little aux set up for the first time in my car. Like, I just discovered, I didn't discover, but I just plugged up the aux successfully to my car and stuff like that, the little ports. So I'm listening to my music for the first time, and I'm playing like Will I Am and Britney Spears. I wanna sing and shout and let it. I'm playing that like on repeat because I only have like 5-7 songs on my phone at the time. So I wanna sing and shout and let it out. We sing it, oh yeah. And I'm like, man. So I got on my senior shirt, my jeans. I'm cold. I'm a little chilly, but I don't want to put on my jacket because I don't want to get musty. If you know, fellas. It's 2012. I'm in high school, everything like that. I do sweat when I get nervous. You know what I mean? But especially back then when I was a high school kid. So wearing my shirt, I'm a little chilly because it's December 8th. So I drive all the way there and I finally get there. When I get there, I go to the trunk, pop the trunk, take off the Nikes, open up the Adidas box, and I put on the Adidas samples right there in the parking lot. And then it hit me when I was walking in, right? I grabbed a little notebook out the back seat and it hit me. Dang, what if my breath stinks? Okay. So what I did, I went to I looked for the nearest convenience store or something like that in the mall. I'm asking around, y'all got gum? Y'all got gum? Y'all got gum? No. I walked around the whole mall. I finally found a place with some gum. I bought me a pack of gum. I get to the line. It's a long line, bro, going around the whole store. They all there for Zendaya. It's a bunch of, what I'm saying, like younger girls and stuff like that with their mamas or with their daddy sometimes. It's not many dudes, and it's definitely not no dudes my age. So I'm like, oh, man, this is crazy. So then Zendaya's dad, shout out to Zendaya's dad. He walks around with his camera, with his phone like this. He said, y'all say hey. And we just like, hey. And he stopped at me. He said, say what's up. I said, oh, hey, what's up, Zendaya? Yeah. I didn't know what to say. What the heck? So he keep walking by. I said, dang, I should have practiced something just in case he did that. I have nothing to do on my phone. I have a limited amount of text at this point because I still had limited text. I can only send or receive like 200 text messages a month. So it's not like I could just text like free and willingly. Like I didn't have unlimited. Like that wasn't the thing back then. So I'm just like, dang, I'm just kind of standing around and stuff. I'm playing the game. I paid like $1.99 to buy a game on my phone just to do something with my hands. In the meantime, waiting for her to come out and stuff. Waiting for the line to get moving. And I make a nice conversation with this white mom in front of me and stuff like that. I'm sorry, Caucasian mom, things of that sort. And, so I'm talking to her. We having a nice conversation and everything. I'm saying, yeah, I'm doing this for my little sister. She's like, oh, that's so sweet. That's so nice. I said, yeah, big brother duties, you know what I mean? She said, oh, okay. So I was like, you know about Zendaya? She's like, no. And then I try to drop a couple facts, you know what I'm saying? Like, because at this point, me, like the way that I act now with like knowing people and stuff like that before I meet them or interview or interact with them is the same thing. To come to think of it, I was really displaying like journalistic kind of like tendencies, or maybe it was just ADD, ADHD, or what they call it, autism, the spectrum stuff, where you hyperfixate on something at one thing at a time. So at this time I was hyperfixated on like Zendaya before meeting her. And so I know in the interviews, they would ask her like, so what about the boys? And she'd be like, oh, I can't date because, my dad said I can't date this or that. She was like 15 at the time of the interviews. But of course, she recently turned at this time 16, and I'm 17. So it just was what it was. I was 17, she was 16. Woo woo. So she tall, I'm playing this. I'm like, oh yeah, this is just a good fit. So, oh yeah, by the way, when I get there, right, I ain't have my jacket on. I put on my jacket, and guess what the jacket is? It's a Letterman jacket. I just got my Letterman jacket. I don't even think I got my name on the back yet. So you got a Letterman jacket, you cool in high school. Boy, what? You a senior? You mad cool. So I got a senior thing on, a Letterman jacket, and I got a Morehouse snapback on backwards. And the Morehouse snapback, it's got a stitched in R because the one we got from Burlington Coat Factory was missing an R in Morehouse. I don't know why. Because I'm thinking I'm going to Morehouse. So I'm like, okay, I'm showing her I'm going to college. I'm a senior in high school, so I'm cool. And I got a Letterman jacket. It doesn't get cooler than that. And I'm team her. You know why I wore this? Because she had an Adidas deal. Hold on. Let me look this up. Zendaya Adidas. She had an Adidas deal at the time. I think she might still be with Adidas. And yep, look at this. Zendaya had an Adidas deal at the time, bro. You know what I mean? So hold on. Let me see if I open this up. She had an Adidas deal at the time. So she had an Adidas deal. She didn't look like this. This is like grown. That's grown Zendaya. That's how she looked at the time. She had an Adidas deal at the time, right? So I'm like, man, I'm home team. I'm with you. I'm rocking with the Adidas. I'm a senior in high school, so I'm cool. I got social status. I can drive. I think I had like my key. Look, you know how people used to walk around with their little keychain little thing hanging out they pocket, they pants pocket. I had that joint going on. I had that hanging out. And what else? I had the hat on to let you know. I got the snapbacks and tattoo that was popping at the time. I'm going to college. I got social status with the Letterman jacket and the t-shirt. I'm a senior. I'm cool. Right. So I do all that. And I'm ready. The Letterman jacket is way too big. They didn't have a size for me that was long enough for my arm. So they had to give me a bigger jacket. So it was like kind of falling off on me. So that part looked a little off. But the shirt was on point. The snapback was there. The thing about the snapback was it ain't spelled Morehouse the right way, but it was the only Morehouse snapback I had. So it was like, I gotta represent for my college. It's like I'm pretty much showing her like I'm a college dude. Woo woo. So I get up there, bro. Mind you, I'm there. I'm convincing everybody I'm there to tell her this for my little sister, my baby sister, Shake It Up, her favorite show. Can you sign this for her and tell her happy birthday? Say her name. Woo woo. I get up there for some reason, put my arm around her, take the picture, and I say, you know, I know you can't date and all right now, but I was thinking we skip the whole dating process and just go straight to marriage. And she laughed and she said, oh, okay, all right. And her voice was like a Disney voice. And I know she's obviously on Disney Channel, but like her voice was like high pitch. I never heard a voice like that in real life. I was like, oh, wait, she sounded like she on Disney Channel. Like she is on Disney Channel. She was sick. She had some orange juice on the table. I was like, feel better, everything. She's like, oh, thank you. She signed my thing. She handed it to me and she was laughing. She's like, ha! I was like, ha! I didn't know what the heck she was laughing at. I'm on cloud nine. I'm like, bro, why did I just say that? Why did I just do that? So I go over there. I'm talking to her dad and I'm talking to her Uncle Mike. And we talking over there for a few minutes. I'm telling him what I want to do in life, why I want his daughter and stuff like that. He said, you want my daughter? Go get her. I wanted her mom. I went and go got her. I said, bro, you see how long this line is? I ain't about to stand in this line again. He said, you don't want her. I said, can you give her my number? I wrote my number in the notebook and then tried to hand it to him. Zendaya's looking over like, what the heck is this dude still doing here? What is he doing talking to my dad? What's going on here? So I tried to put the number. He said, I ain't taking that. You got to get it to her. I said, bro, come on, man. And then he said, don't touch my pocket. I got $1 million in my pocket. So, you know, that happened. And I was telling him my plans and he just wasn't impressed. I was like, yeah, I want to do this and that, and this and media. And he was just like, yeah, you know, it's whatever. And I was like, dang. I was like, well, his daughter is pretty already successful already. And so I get to the car. Oh, hold on. This was the moment when we met each other. This was the fit and stuff like that. Hold on, I'm gonna open it up. I gotta zoom out. So you see, here's a notebook where I had the paper I wanted her to sign, printed thing. Here's a senior shirt, my Letterman jacket that's too big for me, can't fit on me, and the snapback. Boy, I thought I was doing it, boy. So I did that, right? And so I get to the car and I open up the notebook, right? And I see the sign thing. And the sign thing, let me see if I could find it. Hold on now. This is what the sign thing reads, bro. And it all clicked for me why she laughed when she handed back her thing and she agreed to sign it, bro. And it was because of this, bro. Oh, hold on. Oh my gosh. Reading these is so cringe. It said Zendaya, aka wifey with a heart. I said, bro, what? Boy, I was on cloud nine when I seen it. I said, what the heck? I was hyped. And then I was like, I can't give this to my little sister. I can't give this to my little sister. I have no clue where this is, bro. It might be up there in my drawer. If it's not, it might be at my mom's house. If it's not at my mom's house, it's gone, bro. It's lost in the shuffle, bro. But this, like, she became a dang superstar, the biggest in the world. Had no clue. I had no clue, bro. But after this, I became a full-fledged, like, I went from like someone who was fixated and like kind of, just studying her interviews, like low-key obsessed, to becoming a full-out Z-Swagger. So I wrote her from the car at the time. So I guess it was December 10th. I said December 8th, 2012. I said, you're so dope. Thank you for Saturday. Oh, so Saturday. So it was December 8th. Thank you for Saturday. But I really went up there to get an autograph from my baby sisters as a Christmas gift. Wifey heart emoji. Oh my gosh. I was so cringe the way I tweeted her all the time. I tweeted her like constantly, like nonstop for like the next year. Everybody at the school knew me as like the Zendaya guy. I just had no shame in it. It was like a thing that I was known for. I was known as a Z-Swagger. Shout out all my Z-Swagger friends. I literally got dang 200 followers, 200, 300, maybe even like 500 followers still that are just following me from like the days that I was a Zendaya stan and a part of the Z-Swaggers and stuff like that. So that's what it was, man. I was beefing with this other dude on Twitter who also had a crush on her, and she responded to him because he was, light skinned and danced and singed and rapped. Shout out to Jackson. We became pretty cool or whatever after like our initial fights and stuff like that. And then her dad followed me. Her dad still follows me on Twitter. And like I said, what's up to him at the show. Oh, yeah. So follow up. A year passes or whatever after this whole thing with Zendaya. And I kind of cool off at this point. I had her album, so I knew the songs and everything, replay. But my favorite is Heaven Lost an Angel. That's my favorite Zendaya song. And that was on that album. And so she was on Dancing with the Stars as well, her and Val. So I was like watching, you know what I'm saying? Like my stan was still there. I was still an active stan. Everybody knew me as a Zendaya guy. So, her father, he followed me. He follows only 58 people, bro. Still to this day. To this day, he followed like OBJ, like 10 Zendaya fan accounts. And the rest are like, I guess, people he knows and celebrities. And her cousin. And her cousin follows me, Kaboom, the producer. He's a producer out in LA. Shouts out to Kaboom, man. I think his name is like Cub Coleman. Shouts out to bro. So yeah. That's what was going on, man. The family still rock. But anyway, like I say, a year passed. I'm actually dating an actual woman at this point. I'm actually dating an actual, fellow teenager, things of that sort, right? And I take my girlfriend at the time, my ex. I take her to Six Flags because at Six Flags, Zendaya's performing. And that's where I saw Matty B. And that's why I told Matty B. I was like, I was at your show at Six Flags like 10 years ago. He's like, for real? That's crazy. That was a fun show. I used to love doing Six Flags because we ride the rides and stuff. It's like, yeah, I was at the show. So I was at the show. And before I went to the show, I wrote this note that was like a divorce paper and everything like that because I was with my ex. And I showed her and she was like, oh, okay, whatever you got to do to get over it. Needless to say, she ended up dumping me. Like, now looking back on it, I'm like, oh, of course, like it was so many just cringe moments. But she put up with my nonsense back then. And I took this picture while she was on stage. And I said, always good seeing Zendaya and Zendaya's dad. Hashtag formerly known as wifey. Oh my gosh, this was so cringe. Zendaya had us on Mobly. It was a picture app called Mobly. You never heard of it? Good. It no longer exists. She had this app and she was like, they like made her an endorser for it. She probably had some stake, some equity in it. She was like, everybody download Mobly now. It's the next big thing. It's a big app. Everybody get on Mobly. And she would like all the people's stuff on Mobly, and she would like follow everybody on Mobly and stuff like that. But yeah. I think this was uploaded to Mobly because I didn't have Instagram at the time. I didn't have Instagram until like later. So I might have had Instagram at this point, but yeah, man. So that's the Zendaya story. She looked at me like she kind of recognized me at the show, but her dad didn't remember me. And that was pretty much it. We went our separate ways. Zendaya went to Waffle House that night, the Waffle House that we always go to, because Six Flags is right by my church, the church that I grew up going to. And there is a Waffle House right by said church. And she went to that Waffle House. My ex and I were leaving Six Flags, and she was like, where you want to eat? I said, I'm tired of Waffle House. She was like, let's get Taco Bell. We went to Taco Bell instead. We saw on Instagram that Zendaya was at Waffle House. We was like, of course. The one time that we don't go to Waffle House is when Zendaya's there. She's like, wow, that's so annoying. So yeah, that happened. I never saw Zendaya again. She became a superstar and the biggest star in the world. I'm extremely proud of her, and I'm happy for her and Tom Holland. They seem like they have a good thing going on as well. Best of luck to them. And yeah, shout out to Spider-Man. There is absolutely nothing, no type of angst or anything like that in my heart. But yeah, there's a whole, I was looking at some of them today, bro. Oh my gosh. Like while I was looking for these tweets of like the wifey picture and the picture of me at the thing and her father following me, I was looking at some of them tweets. So I was like, oh my goodness, bro. I was so cringe, bro. And a lot of it I did at the time because I thought it was funny. Like I thought it was like trolling and stuff like that. So keep this in mind. When you see like younger kids or whatever on the internet, teenagers and stuff, just saying like cringy stuff that isn't funny, they're just kids, bro. They're just kids. Their brain's still developing. They still figuring out their personality and life on their own, especially if they were sheltered growing up. So I ain't really jump off the porch for real until like, and I mean jump off the porch, like just go outside without like my mom until like I was a junior in high school. So I was like, I was a late bloomer. I didn't really get outside till I was like 16. So, you know, from 16 to 19, I'm really figuring it out. And I don't think I fully became, I don't know if you'll ever fully become comfortable, which I think is a good thing. Like, I think you get comfortable, you don't grow. That's a whole nother tangent and stuff like that. But it took a while to find your swag, to find you. It takes a while, bro. It takes a little minute. So kids are just finding themselves. You have to give them patience and grace and things of that sort when they're using social media. And not just be like, oh, this person is cringe, F you, da, 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 da. You know how the conversation can get on the internet. So that is the story about the time I became a Z-Swagger. And I was a Z-Swagger from like 2012 to probably like 2014, 2015. Pretty cool stuff. Then Zendaya started tweeting less and posting. She kind of drifted away from social media. She did Spider-Man, met her husband, and here we are now. So shouts out to Zendaya. Proud of you. Congratulations on all the success, and shouts out to Tom Holland. And yeah, shouts out to all my stands out there, all the stand accounts, stand culture. I was with you one day. You know, I grew up on the internet, so I've had a bunch of different phases on the internet. And that's one of those ones where I look back on now and I'm like, oh my goodness, that was so cringe. But hey, it's always better to be cringe and just let out your true self than hold back who you truly are for the sake of looking cool or socially acceptable. That's it. That's all I have, man. This was a 2-hour stream. I wasn't intending it for it to be that. Some people subscribe to this channel are like, bro, upload the dang press conferences. My bad, dog. I was trying to go to sleep early. I'm about to upload the press conferences right now. All that good stuff. And I got to upload a short, so I'll upload a short too. It'll probably be, I'm thinking Kendrick. And yeah, that's it. If you are new to the channel, my name is Rashad Milligan. This is the road to 2K subs, 10K subs. I was used to saying 2K. Goodness gracious, we're on a different level. Shout out SSB holding it down in the chat tonight. That's all I have, man. You guys, please take care of yourselves. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. Have a good night. Have a good day. If nobody else told you today, I care for you. Until next time, please take care of your.
Rashad, why you
Anyways.
didn't hit me up?
Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
Brother, I love you, brother.
What's up, Rashad? What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.